He wakes up every morning before the alarm rings, not because he has somewhere important to go, but because silence refuses to let him sleep any longer. The room is quiet, painfully quiet, the kind of quiet that makes your own breathing sound loud and unfamiliar. Sunlight slips through the cracks of the curtain, touching the walls that have heard every thought he never spoke out loud. He lies there for a few moments, staring at the ceiling, counting the cracks, pretending that this routine means something. It doesn't. It's just another day of being alone. He wasn't always like this. There was a time when his phone buzzed constantly, when his name mattered to people, when laughter filled the air around him. But life doesn't announce when it starts taking things away. It removes people slowly, like sand slipping through fingers, until one day you look around and realize you're holding nothing. Friends drifted away chasing success. Love walked out without warning, and family grew distant. Not because they stopped caring, but because everyone became busy surviving their own battles. Being alone didn't happen overnight. It began with unanswered messages, postponed plans, birthdays celebrated alone, and promises that faded with time. At first, he told himself it was temporary. He believed people would come back, that things would return to how they used to be. But days turned into months, and months into years, and the silence became permanent. He goes to work, does what is expected, speaks when necessary, smiles when required. To the world, he looks normal, responsible, calm, strong. No one sees the weight he carries inside. No one notices how every laugh is rehearsed, how every conversation feels like a performance. Because lonely people learn one important skill very well: how to hide pain behind functionality. Evenings are the hardest. When the noise of the world fades and he returns home, loneliness greets him like an old friend that never leaves. He eats dinner alone, often scrolling through his phone, watching other people live the life he once dreamed of. Smiling faces, happy couples, group photos, success stories, and with every swipe, the question grows louder in his mind: what went wrong with me? He replays memories like broken records, conversations he wishes he handled differently, moments where he should have spoken up but stayed silent, times when he trusted the wrong people and ignored the right ones. Regret becomes his nightly companion, whispering reminders of everything he lost and never replaced. There are nights when he talks to himself, not because he's crazy, but because no one else is listening. He imagines conversations that will never happen, apologies he will never receive, explanations he will never give. In those moments, the loneliness feels physical, like a tight grip around his chest, making it hard to breathe. People assume being alone means freedom. No responsibilities, no drama, no heartbreak. But they never talk about the emptiness. The way silence amplifies every insecurity. The way self-doubt grows when there's no one to reassure you. The way sadness feels heavier when you carry it alone. He becomes strong, not because he wants to be, but because he has no other choice. He learns to fix his own problems, to motivate himself when he's exhausted, to pick himself up after every emotional fall. Strength becomes his survival mechanism, not his pride. And over time, people start depending on him, not realizing that the strong man is the loneliest one in the room. He helps others through their pain while ignoring his own. He listens to their problems, offers advice, stays awake late at night for them. And once they feel better, they leave, carrying pieces of his energy with them. He never asks for anything in return, because deep down, he fears that if he asks, no one will stay. There are moments when hope tries to return, when he thinks maybe this time will be different. Maybe this person will understand. Maybe this connection will last. But hope is dangerous for someone who has been alone too long, because when it breaks, it cuts deeper than before. And so he learns to keep his expectations low, his walls high and his emotions guarded. He starts enjoying his own company, not because he loves it, but because he has adapted to it. He finds comfort in routines, in late-night walks, in music that understands him better than people ever did, in writing thoughts he can't speak, in dreams where he isn't alone. Yet even in adaptation, the desire for connection never disappears. He still wants someone to ask how his day was and genuinely mean it. someone to sit beside him in silence without it feeling awkward, someone who sees his strength and understands his weakness, someone who stays. Sometimes he wonders if he's invisible, if his presence matters at all, if disappearing would make any difference. These thoughts scare him, but they also feel familiar, like shadows that follow him everywhere, waiting for moments of weakness. But there is something loneliness teaches that no crowded room ever can. It teaches self-awareness. It forces you to face yourself without distractions, to confront your flaws, your fears, your truths. And slowly, painfully, he begins to understand himself better than ever before. He realizes that not everyone who leaves is meant to stay, that not every loss is a failure, that some people come into your life to teach you lessons, not to build a future. And that being alone doesn't mean being worthless. He starts rebuilding quietly, not for attention, not for validation, but for peace. He sets small goals, learns new skills, takes care of his health, strengthens his mind. He stops waiting for someone to save him and becomes his own support system. The loneliness doesn't disappear, but it changes. It becomes softer, less threatening, more manageable. He learns to sit with it without letting it define him. He understands that solitude and loneliness are not the same. One is a state, the other is a feeling, and feelings can change. He still has bad days, days when the silence screams louder than usual, days when he feels forgotten, days when the weight returns. But now he knows he can survive them, because he has survived worse. And one day, without realizing it, he stops seeing himself as broken. He sees himself as forged, shaped by isolation, strengthened by struggle, made deeper by pain. He becomes someone who doesn't need a crowd to feel whole. If someone enters his life now, it will be because they choose him, not because he needs them to fill a void. And if no one comes, he knows he will still stand, still breathe, still move forward. Because he is an alone man, yes, but he is not defeated. He is not weak. He is not finished. He is still here,